It is Ryan Seacrest here. There was a recent social media trend which consisted of flying on a plane with no music, no movies, no entertainment. But a better trend would be going to ChumbaCasino.com. It's like having a mini social casino in your pocket. Chumba Casino has over 100 online casino-style games, all absolutely free. It's the most fun you can have online and on a plane. So grab your free welcome bonus now at ChumbaCasino.com. Sponsored by Chumba Casino.
No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Do you want more success, more growth, more results? Then it's time for the Boundless Success Accelerator from the Modern Observer Group. This isn't your average coaching program. It's where top performers come to dominate. Weekly group sessions, on-demand coaching, a community that's got your back, and a power-packed library of tools to supercharge your business and career. No more excuses, no more waiting. Get in, level up, and start building the life you've been dreaming about. Visit us at modernobserver.com/boundlesssuccess to join today. Let's get you to the next level.
We're here because the news is being distorted. We're here because people are being inundated with misinformation on social media. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
The Musk Trump feud, major decisions from the Supreme Court, China spying on U.S. infrastructure, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. The partnership between President Trump and Elon Musk fractured publicly on Wednesday following disputes over Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. Musk criticized the bill for excessive spending and the removal of electric vehicle incentives, despite having supported it during his time in the administration. The feud escalated on X when Musk alleged that Trump was named in unreleased Jeffrey Epstein files. In response, Trump threatened to terminate federal contracts with Musk's companies, including SpaceX, which holds major agreements with NASA and the Pentagon. The feud has shown signs of de-escalation, however. Musk announced SpaceX would begin decommissioning its Dragon spacecraft, used by NASA to ferry astronauts and cargo to the International Space Station, but quickly rescinded that statement. Musk further responded positively to a post by Bill Ackerman, who knows both Trump and Musk, stating that the two need to come together. The Supreme Court ruled Thursday in favor of 7 U.S. gun manufacturers who were sued by the Mexican government over allegations they aided and abetted illegal gun sales to Mexican cartels. The High Court's decision in Smith & Wesson Brands v. Estados Unidos Mexicanos was unanimous, finding that the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, a statute that protects gun makers from lawsuits, did not include exceptions that gave the Mexican government the ability to sue. The kinds of allegations Mexico makes cannot satisfy the demands of the statute's predicate exception, Justice Elena Kagan wrote for the court. Kagan noted the exceptions in the law would allow a lawsuit against the gun makers if they proximately caused Mexico harm. The Supreme Court also ruled unanimously in favor of an Ohio woman who claimed she was discriminated against for job promotions in favor of gay candidates. The ruling, Ames v. Ohio Department of Youth Services, finds that members of majority groups and protected classes do not need to meet a higher standard of evidence in order to establish discrimination. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson wrote the opinion of the court in the 9-0 decision. The Sixth Circuit has implemented a rule that requires certain Title VII plaintiffs, those who are members of majority groups, to satisfy a heightened evidentiary standard, Jackson wrote. we conclude that Title VII does not impose such a heightened standard on majority group plaintiffs. Therefore, the judgment below is vacated. The woman in the case, Marlena Ames, is a heterosexual woman who had worked for the Ohio Department of Youth Services since 2004. She argued she was discriminated against on the basis of her sexual orientation after she was passed over for a promotion in 2019 in favor of a lesbian woman and was then later replaced in her own role by a gay man. Additionally, the Supreme Court on Thursday sided with a Wisconsin-based Catholic charity group in a case centered on unemployment tax credits for religious institutions, delivering a victory for faith-based institutions who argued that the state's decision had violated the religious clauses under the First Amendment. In a unanimous opinion, the justices agreed that the state had engaged in an unnecessary entanglement in attempting to define whether religious groups should be entitled to an otherwise available tax exemption based on the state's criteria for religious behavior. When the government distinguishes among religions based on theological differences in their provision of services, it imposes a denominational preference that must satisfy the highest level of judicial scrutiny, Justice Sonia Sotomayor said, writing for the majority. French President Emmanuel Macron has asked his ministers to come up with a responsive measure after a government-commissioned report determined that the Muslim Brotherhood poses a danger to the fabric of society and Republican institutions in France. Though the French government stated it would not publish its full report, Reuters said it accuses the Muslim Brotherhood of waging a covert campaign via local proxies to subvert France's secular values and institutions. That campaign is said to focus on local government, schools, and mosques as a means to influence change on local and national levels, particularly regarding issues of gender equality and secularism. The reports claim that the reality of this threat, even if it is a long-term and does not involve violent action, highlights the risk of damage to the fabric of society and Republican institutions. A former analyst with the National Security Agency said that China is positioning equipment in strategic places that could be used to disrupt U.S. commerce after rogue communication devices were found inside Chinese solar power inverters. Rogue communication devices that were not in official product documents were found inside Chinese solar power inverters when they were examined by U.S. experts for possible security issues, two sources told Reuters. The two sources said that the rogue power inverters have undocumented communication channels which could be used to circumvent firewalls remotely, which could have major consequences. These power inverters connect the solar panel to electrical grids. Rocky Cole, former intelligence analyst at the National Security Agency and co-founder of iVerify, stated that it's very conceivable that China is using these rogue power inverters to gain access to American infrastructure. Former President Joe Biden's personal doctor is being subpoenaed to testify amid allegations of a cover-up of his cognitive decline during his term in the White House. Representative James Comer, the chairman of the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, is compelling Dr. Kevin O'Connor to appear for a deposition on June 27th. The subpoena is part of the investigation into the cover-up of Biden's cognitive decline and potentially unauthorized issuances of sweeping pardons and other executive actions. Procter & Gamble is cutting 15% of its non-manufacturing workforce. The company that makes half the products at your local CVS and Walgreens announced it's eliminating 7,000 roles as part of a restructuring. Procter & Gamble said the cuts aren't a cost-cutting measure, though earlier this year the company admitted it was considering cutting costs after it reported a decline in sales and lowered its annual outlook due to consumer uncertainty. As part of the restructuring, P&G reportedly plans to exit some product categories. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of the Raw Naked Truth Daily News Brief, as well as our sister podcast, Carnivore Radio, with news analysis and commentary, and the rest of the Xvadio Podcast Network at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcast app, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.
Step into the world of power, loyalty, and luck.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
With family, cannolis, and spins mean everything.
Now, you wanna get mixed up in the family business.
Introducing The Godfather at ChumbaCasino.com. Test your luck in the shadowy world of The Godfather slot.
Someday, I will call upon you to do a service for me.
Play The Godfather now at ChumbaCasino.com.
Welcome to the family.